If you and I both knew that this was our last conversation, what would we say to one another? That's a heavy question. As I was preparing this, I was sitting in a chair in my living room. This was early one morning last weekend. And I was sipping on a cup of coffee and I was still in my sweatpants and slippers, still feeling the warmth of a morning shower on my skin and the fresh, cool morning air of the day to come filled with potential all around me. And steam rose from my cup of black coffee. The heat of the mug was just mild enough for me to hold it with both palms, warming my skin. I took a moment to inhale the aroma of the Central American coffee beans that had been harvested and carried and dried and roasted by the loving hands of farm workers, hardworking women and men on mountainsides and small villages in places like Guatemala or Costa Rica or Honduras or wherever the story of that cup of coffee and this cup of coffee originated. There's a very brief moment every morning. I often miss it. In fact, I almost always miss it. But there's this one moment when the coffee is the perfect temperature and the house is just quiet enough and I'm paying enough attention. And the steam from my coffee mug drifts up like a white morning fog hanging over a lush green mountainside. It's only a moment. And man, I honestly, I really do miss it most mornings, but there is a perfect moment when the steam of the coffee becomes a mountain mist and I am transported. I'm there in the small Central American village. I can hear the sound of the birds and the rustling of the leaves. There is peace. There is calm. There is a groundedness and an ancient truth of which I'm a part. It's heavenly. And then it vanishes. The moment is gone. The coffee cools. The noise of our home increases as people get ready for the day and chores have to get done. And I've got a to-do list and my phone buzzes and the moment vanishes. There's a Bible passage that has had me thinking this way recently. It's from one of my favorite parts of the Bible, the book of James. And in this little passage, he writes, "Why, you don't even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes." You are a mist, then you vanish. That is a heavy line. I've got some big family gatherings coming up on my calendar soon. Maybe you do too. In-laws, nieces, nephews, out-of-town loved ones, people I only see every once in a while. And also, beyond the big family gatherings, I've got some plans with groups of friends coming up soon. Neighbors who have invited us into their homes for a dinner party, old friends that I'll be reuniting with for an evening of drinks and fun. Some impromptu gatherings that always kind of happen this time of year, which I suppose doesn't make them impromptu, but it's more fun if they seem that way. And as I gather with family members and loved ones and friends in the coming weeks, I hope I get a chance to share a cup of coffee with them. And I hope there is a moment when the steam rises just right and the mist of our lives blend together in a beautiful morning mountain fog of coexistence. Because I'll be honest here, I've had some things happen to people in my life this past year, illnesses and surgeries and health scares, things like that. So for me, every cup of coffee or slice of pie or pile of mashed potatoes shared this year will be cherished a little bit more. Here's a difficult truth that I know. Around many of those family gathering tables this year, there will be empty chairs. There will be unspoken memories of people who used to be at these gatherings with us, but they're not here this year. Our time together is so fleeting. It is so vaporous. It's a mist, and then it vanishes. If you and a loved one both knew that this was your last conversation, what would you say to one another? It probably wouldn't be a political debate. It probably wouldn't be some comment about a meme you saw on the internet. It probably wouldn't be an argument about whether raisins belong in the stuffing, which they don't, and which you've argued about for the last 5 years. It probably wouldn't be a comment about the big game or a complaint about the weather. It probably wouldn't be a political debate. Oh, did I say that one already? If you and a loved one both knew that this was your last conversation, what would you say to one another? These moments we share are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Inhale the aroma of togetherness. Cherish the warmth of the moment. Be transported. Here's a short prayer. Loving God who hovers over our lives like a morning mountain mist, focus our attention on the vanishing nature of the moments we share. Remind us that this next encounter, this next interaction, this next conversation might be the only one we get together. Bind us together in these fleeting moments, and in so doing, bind us back to you. Amen. Hey, Between is about you. Take this message into your life this week and fill the space between you and every person you encounter with your sacred light. My favorite church is the space between people. Now go with God's love and create the church between.